Hi, Roger, with the VELCO Weather Hazards Outlook. This on the 17th day of December on Wednesday morning. We're looking at the GFS ensemble models, and we'll get into the other computer modeling here in a second. Basically, once we get through this weak weather system under 2/10 of an inch projections, we're going to be in pretty good sailing here with not a whole lot going on. A couple fairly nice days coming on Friday and Saturday. And a little bit of volatility as we get into the later part of the period. You can see towards the 24th, something brewing here. And right now, it's way too early to get involved in any forecasting that far out. But just note that this is going to be an area we're going to have to watch, and you may want to have manpower on hand at that point in time. Okay, here's some of the latest modeling, and what we're looking at here is the area of low pressure now pulling away, and it's weekend, a little more of a gusty wind on the backside of this departing weather system. 994 millibars, not a big deal, relatively weak in nature. But as we get into, it looks like a building area of higher pressure, a little bit breezy as we get into really Thursday and Thursday night. And then by early Friday morning, the last of the flurries are going to be working out of the region. So we're looking at additional snow accumulation generally between now and then, probably somewhere around 1 to 3, 2 to 4 in some of our local mountains. And the northern greens might see as much as 3, 4, 5, 6 inches out of that. High pressure begins to build in on Friday. The 1029 center here, located south of James Bay, Canada, will be tracking toward our region. And set up at 1032 millibars, it actually increases. And then we have a little break off of jet stream energy. We're getting into the El Nino portion of the winter now, with the most volatility, the most strongest jet stream energy working in really across parts of California, the West Coast, and eventually through the southern part of the United States, and then working its way off the eastern seaboard. And as time goes on, little bit of light snow showers will work on through with just an upper level trough. This will be taking place on along about Sunday. And then another weather system will spin up off the coast here and then work into Vermont. That could bring us a little bit of wet snow. Right now it doesn't look like a big deal, but you see the 32-degree temperature isotherm on the graphic here indicating we're going to be in that mode once again, but we're talking light amounts. I mean, you can see this is not going to be a big deal. We'll see what happens. More than likely, this is fairly low confidence, and over time, we're not really too worried about it. A little bubble of higher pressure will build in. It looks like just ahead of Christmas before more volatility works in, and you can see that weather system toward Christmas Day. That will more than likely evolve, but this is a beast, and it's about something like 3 to 5 standard deviations below normal, below climatology. So this is a very deep area of low pressure. More than likely, it'll have some wind with it, but that's way down the road a piece beyond this period. And here's a quick look at the precipitable water, always a good thing to look at when colder, drier air works into the region. That would be those sort of lighter shades of gray there. And we do have a cold night coming, it looks like, with some Arctic chill. But in general, it looks like a generally light precipitation scenario here, relatively quiet period, even with that passing surface system to the south of Long Island on Monday into Tuesday. It looks like mostly Monday night into Tuesday. That weather system, not a big deal. The one to watch, though, later in the period will be this one, as it will pull a lot of moisture into its center as it tracks into the Great Lakes. Again, a very deep area of low pressure, but that's a long ways out. This will evolve and change over time. Okay, over in terms of snowfall and over time, what we're looking at here is fairly light snow on the backside of this storm system. As I mentioned, that area of higher pressure builds in. Looks like temperatures go below zero. That's what that 0-degree isotherm is here, the red lines. This cold, dense air to the north is serving as the area of higher pressure. And a little bit of snow with a weak weather system will come through on Sunday. We're looking at generally 1 to 2 inches at this point in time. This may change, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a big deal, and really no worries for utilities there. Just a little worry for travel. A little bit of a break, and then you can see that little bit of minor wet snow accumulating mainly in southern parts of Vermont, something we'll have to watch. Again, this will evolve. And then this leads to the secondary system coming in later in the week. Right now, it looks like it's not a big deal in terms of wet snow. Could be a big deal in terms of gradient winds. Here's a look at the 850 millibar temperatures, and the darker blues show below 0 degrees centigrade Celsius. So what that means is we're looking at colder air aloft, those darker purples, some real cold air. It moves in overnight, looks like on Friday, and a little bit of a warm-up kind of takes place. It looks like across parts of Quebec into Vermont. Kind of unusual to see that this time of year. But then a little shot of colder air, and then tries to make a run at us with some slightly warmer air, and that's where some mixed precipitation may come into play here, along with some wet snow. But looks like we try to warm up, and here comes the big long wave trough and very well developed area of low pressure that'll be taking place just prior to Christmas. And just as a note, even the European ensemble has this well developed strong weather system, and more than likely it's going to bring us some gradient winds and some mixed precipitation types, or probably some liquid precipitation types. Again, this is going to be on valid about Christmas Eve. Again, it will evolve. This is a 7-day total accumulation, valid through next Wednesday morning. And you can see kind of volatility here. Again, heavier rainfall across the Gulf coastal region, southeast United States. A lot of precipitation taking place along the west coast. And then off the northeast United States with that couple weather systems included within this period. Nothing major, however. Maximum temperature anomalies near normal to the south of us, about 3 degrees for our local high temperatures, and much of the country running again above normal with a flood of Pacific air, classic El Nino signature there. And again, roughly about 3 days later, 3 to 7 days out, Water Prediction Center gives us temperatures running above normal across a good section of Canada and the adjacent United States, northern tier areas, with the main cooling or below normal temperatures really near normal here. Running across the southeast United States. Again, once again, this is a classic El Nino signature. Iowa State meteogram centered on Montpelier, Vermont. Temperatures basically staying above the freezing mark or close to the freezing mark, a little bit below for tonight, and then up around about 32 or so tomorrow. Model consensus is pretty good with a cooling that will take place as we get into Friday morning. And then by Friday night, Saturday morning, European model suggesting temperatures again below 0 in the single digits, nothing real extreme, and then nice rises during the day right back to around the mid-20s, and temperatures then warm thereafter. Not extremely, but you can see how there'll be some warming, and of course this will be a volatile period right in this position here, where temperatures more or less will level out. And right here we're seeing what we have left over today. This secondary low pressure system actually forms off the coast and will become the major source and pull away. And we're expecting generally quiet weather and hopefully more unloading to occur the rest of today. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights Consulting.